Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Ms. Walden, I just want to thank you for being here today and providing the subcommittee with the invaluable insight on the path forward in the cybersecurity sector. So I'd like to start off by looking at cloud service providers. And the strategy correctly notes that cloud-based services enable better and more economical cybersecurity practices at scale. And their security is crucial for critical infrastructure and government systems. However, the strategy also is looking to close gaps in regulatory authorities for cloud services. Now, I'm concerned that this categorical effort to sweep in all cloud-based services is inconsistent with a risk-based approach. Can you explain the rationale for the blanket approach that you plan to pursue?
So cloud service providers provide some cybersecurity risk protections, particularly for small and medium businesses and even for large enterprises. So let's start there. The cloud service providers operate in a highly regulated environment as it is. They are a participant in all of the regulations that their customers bear. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we had a harmonized system of regulations so that those that are highly regulated, that cloud service providers provide the compliance for, equal, and we reward that investment and cause others to invest in cybersecurity best practices by looking at how they're regulated. But cloud service providers have publicly acknowledged, we've worked with them directly in developing this strategy, but they've publicly acknowledged the need for regulatory minimum cybersecurity requirements, baselines to be brought up, and for harmonization to take place. So cloud service providers, cloud environments are more secure than on-prem, but there is some work still to be done, and we are ready, willing, and able to work directly with cloud service providers, not necessarily to kowtow to their demands, but to make sure that we have effective harmonization across all sectors for the purposes of making cloud services more secure.
Okay. You spoke in an interview recently saying that of cloud services that if they were disrupted, they could create large and potentially catastrophic disruptions to our economy and to our government. Can you talk a little bit about this and mention how cyber criminals and malign foreign countries disrupt cloud services?
So cyber criminals will typically spin up infrastructure using cloud services to do so. I was part of a team that would find that infrastructure and use all means appropriate to tear it down. And I think that we can do that at scale. We need to be able to work with cloud service providers to remove infrastructure, or at least to harden infrastructure so that cyber criminals can't leverage it. Of course, there are other opportunities for making sure that we reduce or we increase the cost of cybercrime. We can arrest people, we can lean into our authorities more, but we also need to work with private sector owners and operators of managed service providers and cloud service providers to tear down infrastructure where infrastructure is being used by cyber criminals.
Okay. Now, the Stafford Act, generally speaking, is an all-encompassing document for disasters in the United States. A large-scale cyber attack could plausibly be considered a disaster. However, cyber-related disasters are not mentioned in the Stafford Act. What would our strategy be in case of a large-scale attack?
This is the reason why we have designed the strategy the way that we have. We need to make sure that we have our ducks in a row so that we make it more defensible, but the focus really needs to be on what investments do we need to make in order to make sure that cyber attacks are not catastrophic or don't cause systemic failure or long-term failure, that we have shorter downtimes, we have seamless response. So that is the reason why we have the cybersecurity strategy. On your specific questions about the Stafford Act, I'd be happy to come back to you with some thoughts about that. But that is the reason why we have the strategy the way it is.
Thank you very much, and I yield back.